Welcome to the SDA Housing Podcast, brought to you by NDIS Property Australia. Before starting this episode, we need to provide a general disclaimer. Information contained in this podcast is general in nature only. It does not take into account the objectives, financial situation, or needs of any particular person. You need to consider your financial situation and needs before making any decisions based on the information in this podcast. And you should consider seeking independent and professional advice for your personal circumstances. All right, let's begin.
Hello everybody, my name's Debbie from NDIS Property Australia, and you're listening to the SDA Housing Podcast, a show that explains, highlights, guides and brings awareness about all things SDA in this ever-changing NDIS world. And boy, is it ever-changing. I've got Sim with me today from our marketing team. Hi, Sim.
Hi, Debbie. It's been a while. It's good to be back.
Yes, absolutely back on. We haven't been doing too many podcasts because we have been really busy in the background. Just, I guess, analysing the SDA market. We're still talking to a lot of investors and a lot of industry players at the moment to find out really where things are shifting. So we wanted to just, I guess, give you a bit of a overview, very brief overview of what we're doing at the moment in terms of website, upcoming podcast episodes that you can expect. So Sim obviously is in charge of our website and our marketing. So Sim, do you want to just give us a bit of a rundown on what people can expect from our website in the coming weeks and months?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's more so about pivoting towards built and tenanted properties because the market is always changing. And so we're obviously trying to come up with new strategies for people to understand the market a lot better. It's about more transparency, more practical insights, and, a focus on what actually works in the real world. In doing so, we're also kind of coming up with checklists, like our SDA due diligence checklist for investors, which is going to be rolled out over the next couple of weeks. And that will basically give people more insight into what factors they need to consider when they're investing, because there's a lot of moving parts in SDA, as we know, and it's easier to kind of just look at one or two at times. Usually people look at yield. That becomes, very kind of single-sided approach to it. But in reality, we need to consider a lot more layers to determine a property's performance. So yeah, we're really just pivoting towards built and tenanted properties on the website. And there's going to be more blogs, more guides to kind of inform the audience about what they need to be thinking about.
Yeah. And I guess that's come about really because we have very little properties for sale that are off the plan. No one's really interested in buying off the plan anymore. We certainly don't have sort of the house and land packages being offered to us for sale that we did, say, 2, 3, 4 years ago. That's just a symbol of how the market has shifted. There's still a demand for new properties to be built, but we're seeing that really is the more experienced developers who are getting into that space to do that now. For the investor, the average investor that's looking at SDA, they've already, I guess, figured out that they want to buy something that's already in existence and is already tenanted and providing an income immediately. So we're having a lot more people coming to us wanting to sell their properties. We're generally not accepting any properties that are vacant for sale most of the time because it is in an oversupplied area. So we don't want to be passing a problem on to another owner. So we do our own due diligence when it comes to what we're
There's usually lots of layers to it as well. I see you going through it in office every day.
Yeah, absolutely. There's lots to it. So it's really just analysing where the current market is. We always look at the data to see what is still needed, where we're still talking to people all the time. But the focus really these days now is on helping developers who are looking to build properties in areas that they're still needed, and also helping investors that want to either build their portfolio or get into the SDA market by buying good products, good properties that are going to give them a stable long-term return.
I think that's fair.
Yeah. So it is a very different world. I mean, we've been saying this constantly, haven't we,
Yeah.
Sim, from the beginning, that the SDA market changes so much every year.
I think it was changing a lot, like within the first 3 months as I joined as well. I remember just constantly having to read about it and talk to you and learn more about what changes are going on in the SDA space. And yeah, you're doing a brilliant job at keeping up with them. I'd
Trying
say.
to. But yeah, it's a different kind of shift now. You know, before we just had supply and demand shifts. We then had, I guess, people just learning how everything was working while we were as well, but we were starting to build our contacts in the industry and learning ourselves so much more from the provider side of things, the care side of what goes on inside an SDA home and how that affects an investor. And then, of course, 18 months ago, 12 months ago, big changes happened with the changes for lending. The main lenders made a lot of changes there, which really knocked a lot of people out of being potential investors in this space. And now we're just seeing, I guess, the result of a lot of unfortunate spruiking and marketing of properties in the wrong areas that has resulted in oversupply in areas and undersupply in others, a lot of investors who've been burned, who need to get out, but yet a maturing market that people still want to be involved in. They still see the value of investing in a space where they've got an ethical investment and also potentially a long-term, stable, good income on their investment.
Yeah, I'd say they would need guidance in that aspect. And coming back to the podcast, we've been a bit radio silent over the past couple of months.
We haven't had much coming up. We've just been focused on other things. So apologies for our listeners who were used to expecting a podcast every 2 or 3 weeks. We will be getting back to that. So yeah, we've been coming up with some ideas for some new episodes, and just to give you an idea of what some of those are going to include. We're going to be talking about the new NDIS funding changes when we know exactly what's going on there. We're going to be talking about the SDA resale market. We're going to be talking about why some SDA homes fill up, why others sit vacant. It's not always just about supply and demand. Yield versus certainty. What makes an SDA property financeable in 2026? The truth about SDA cash flow. SDA and SMSF, what trustees must understand before buying. How to rescue an underperforming SDA property. An SDA exit strategy. SDA for regional Australia, opportunity or risk. And there's a few more. But that will give you a bit of an idea of, we've just got lots of topics we still want to cover. Lots of really interesting information, hopefully, that will come out of that. Will provide any investors with a bit more groundwork and background to the current SDA market.
I'm super excited I'm super excited to tune in and just listen to you guys talk, because you have so much knowledge about this. I just aspire to have that. So
well, yeah, anyone just listen in and keep learning. So yeah, look, that was it. We just wanted to give you a very quick overview of where we are, where we're going. We're still here. We're not going anywhere. Keep your eyes peeled for changes to our website. That's ndis.property. And we'll have some new blogs coming out, as Sin said. We will have a bit of a focus shift
towards built-in
on content and a lot more user-friendly content and informative information that you can access.
Yeah. So it's going to be great.
Yeah. And so thanks, Sim, for, all you do on our website. You do a fantastic job.
Thanks, Debbie.
And until next time.
Yep. It's great to be here back. See ya.
Bye.
We hope you enjoyed this episode. Please make sure you are subscribed and following us so you can keep in the loop with all of our upcoming episodes. We would really appreciate it if you could leave us a 5-star rating, a written review, and to share this podcast with those that could benefit. Until next time, catch you on the next episode.